Yes, I had speculated something might happen, but definitely not something I had envisioned that could happen or should happen to Myanmar.
Why did you believe that things were getting precarious with the military junta and the arrangement that had been established with Aung San Suu Kyi as the sort of de facto leader?
Well, actually, one might be very surprised that with Aung San Suu Kyi at the front line and acting like a shield to the to the military and defending the military at The Hague in the ICJ hearings, the military were in the best position they could ever want to be. They were still doing all the things that they were doing in the past, but now with Aung San Suu Kyi to shield them. But Aung San Suu Kyi never did have a grip on the country. I knew her before the 2015 election. I met her and I knew her after that. And I presented her with a list of 200 and plus laws that could be amended, rescinded, or repealed. They are draconian laws going back to colonial times, but laws in her hand that could give more civilian power. But she failed to do that. In fact, she uh, enacted more draconian laws during her term and really stifling the media space and as well as the freedom of expression space. And that, I think, was a very big mistake on her part.
It is an interesting point that you make, because now today we saw the military stripping news groups of their licenses to operate. Is it a sense that the climate has never really changed in Myanmar and that they will go a long way to quieten dissent?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. We were all under the impression and hopeful impression that Myanmar was now slowly into the path for a free and democratic society, but that was not the reality on the ground. They will go at all ends to quell dissent and the first thing to do that is to raid media outlets and pass laws that will predominantly gag all the reporters. And even in the early part of the COVID, this was before the junta came in. There was a gag on health officials talking to international persons about this pandemic. And so, of course, this was tightly monitored by the military. But, I think the military is strongly mistaken now. The media is different. The media environment is different nowadays than it was in 1988 or 2007 during the Saffron Revolution.
So to that point, how long do you believe this protest movement that continues, this young group of very inspired protesters, will be able to continue and hold out against the military junta and the brutality that we're seeing?
They are really going all out. They are almost acting like with terrorist-like behaviors, with snipers aiming at for the head. And just before I came on the show, I had been sent photo clips of young college university women with rubber bullets. But you can see huge holes in the back of her neck and several places. And a 9-year-old boy released from detention, beaten up in the back. I mean, 9-year-old boy. And so this military is supposed to protect the Constitution, protect the state and the people. What they're doing to their own people is just outrageous, barbaric.
Now, of course, accusations have been made by the military about the detained Australian Sean Turnell, who had been working on the staff of Aung San Suu Kyi. How concerned are you for his safety? And do you believe Australia is taking the right approach to try and secure his release?
I think he will not be harmed. It would be the worst thing that the junta would do. They're holding him, I think, for several reasons. I think he was very deeply involved in some of the economic and financial policy and planning for Myanmar, advising Aung San Suu Kyi. But he's been held as a leverage, I think, so that the Australian government will not come forthcoming. And of course, Australia has been criticized for not making forthright proactive decisions, mainly because maybe they were trying to engage with them so that Sean Turnell will be released.
We're hearing reports tonight, I'm just getting more information, that an official from Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy group has actually died in custody.
Yes.
Which is now terribly concerning. It's getting very close to what had been, I guess, those people in power, but there's been many deaths, but this is now, what is your response to this news?
I saw that news too, but it's terrible, but we have to see this along the same landscape with all the others who were detained and then died while detained. And so the international community must come out stronger to stop this barbaric actions by the military junta, bilateral or multilateral.
I just want to quickly press you one more time, also on your perception of Aung San Suu Kyi. Do you think she was complicit, or complicit with the military junta, or do you feel she was, just trying the best she could to keep them at bay?
Well, I've said that she may have been complicit and complacent at the same time. She thought that the military is the military that her father had formed, and so they couldn't be too bad, or they would, at the end, come around to listen to her demands. But at the same time, under her watch, she saw the Rohingyas driven out of Rakhine, the terrible genocide committed under her watch. But let's put all that behind us. The people of Myanmar voted for NLD, 83%. That's a landslide. And let's forget all that the misgivings of the previous government under the watch of Aung San Suu Kyi. But this is not what the people wanted. And the junta must release Aung San Suu Kyi, the president, and everybody who's detained, and restore rule of law within the country. And more or less, I think they need to really see if they are doing what they pledge that they are doing to secure and to provide safety for the people of Myanmar.
I really appreciate your time and for talking to us. Thank you so much.
Anytime, Bev. Thank you.